Something squishy.
Squishy.
Feels squishy. Cookie mix.
Ooh.
They give us cookie mix.
You made a cookie.
Thank you, Secret Santa.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Hello. Merry Christmas, buddy. Today is my turn to go to town and do our grocery shopping and also our laundry. We are currently doing our laundry at a laundromat. We don't usually go on this day of the week, but tomorrow is a special day with some other events. So I'm going to town today, and right before I leave, Nick and I are going to sit here by the rocket mass heater and do a little Q&A. Welcome to our Q&A. Your questions, our answers. We're indoors today because it's pretty close to 0 degrees outside, and that's cold.
Too cold.
So we are sitting inside, which means chaos, which means kids will wander through, which means we'll just do the best we can.
Here we are.
I'm reading questions, as usual, from our Facebook page. How many acres do you have?
3.
That was fast. Do you ever do any hunting or fishing?
No.
We will at some point, but it's just not, it's not in our list right now.
I didn't grow up hunting, so there's people I could go with. Haven't done it yet.
How many square feet of space does the rocket heater take up? 30?
Sure, something like that. 30, 40, something like that. I mean, that's the point, is it's a mass. You can't really, unless you put it in the floor, you can't really get away with less mass. Or less, taking up less space. So, there it is. We're happy with it. It's cozy today.
It's hot today. We actually just swapped the cold of outside for the heat of right next to the rocket mass heater. This goes way back to your house construction. I'm wanting to see how the steel post bases attached to the bottom of the wood posts. I could tell from the videos how they attached to the concrete, but not so much how the steel went up into the wood post and was fastened.
I'll describe it here. Maybe I'll make a sketch that we insert as well. So you saw the piece of 6x6 steel tube that was underneath the post. Well, that's part of a larger assembly, which includes that piece of tube, a plate that is almost the entire footprint of the wood post, and then there's a 4-inch by, I think, 12-inch steel plate that goes up into the post, and there's a couple of holes in that. I cut that slot with a chainsaw, so there's actually an open slot at one side, usually to the outside, and then there's rated bolts that go through that hole, and they're just pinned in there. There's not a nut that tightens down, but there is a bolt that acts as a pin, 2 of those, and then that's doweled in there. So it's all tied in, and we'll show you a little sketch.
Your house is so beautiful and has so much love and locally sourced and reused material. I'm sure you're not thrilled with the Lowe's wrapping paper What are your plans for the exterior?
We get this one a lot. Lowe's paper.
We've actually
Replace it
gotten
every
used to
other
it.
year. We'll
We've
get
really-
a fresh wrapping of Lowe's paper next
It
year.
grows on you. It's kind of a good color scheme with the snow.
I want to do cedar siding, but cedar is not a tree that's native to, our close geographical area. I may travel for cedar logs. I don't have to go very far, or I might buy some cedar siding from a local mill.
My family is going off-grid soon. I have been transitioning us to gray water safe homemade household things. I have 2 things I have not mastered and would love to know what your family does. What do you use or do for deodorant? What do you use for kitty litter? Thank you.
I would say in both of those cases, we go without.
We don't. Yep, our solution to both of those things is we don't.
So our cat somehow got trained just to go outside. We don't know where he goes. But it's outside, and we have the pet door that he lets himself out of, so he's more like a dog, I guess, than a regular cat.
When we had him indoors his first winter when he was a kitten, we did do a cardboard box with sawdust, and that works fine. I mean, it isn't a permanent solution. You have to change the cardboard box completely every once in a while.
Right.
I don't remember how often. And the sawdust does get kind of scratched around a little bit. So whoever invented kitty litter was definitely fulfilling a particular need, but we don't want it around either.
Yeah, absolutely. So yeah, it was a matter of like, where do we then dump it? Because it's a pretty strange material. What was I going to say? Oh, as far as deodorant goes, we probably smell different than most people, I guess. But the other thing is, if you're only bathing once a week, then your body only makes enough oils and other things to keep your body oiled for a week. So as soon as you stop that daily shower cycle, your body stops producing, and your hair is kind of the same way.
Which actually goes to another question. I didn't find it in the scrolling, but a couple people asked if now that we have running water, now that we have hot showers for the first time in a long time inside our house, how are we using that differently? Are we still pretty frugal with the water?
Still pretty frugal. It feels strange to let the water run to get the hot water all the way to the tap. And we're showering, once or twice a week.
It's still not more than twice a week for us. And that really does affect your skin and hair. It affects how you produce oils, just as Nick said. Milo, you can walk by in front. It's
You're
okay.
not going to make it through there.
There goes Milo. The other thing that will change body odor, that will affect body odor, is eating, what you eat. And certainly there are healthy things that you can eat, like garlic, that will give you body odor. And there also are a lot of healthy things that you can eat that really make your system very clean and don't have a particular smell to them. So I would say that try out showering a little bit less frequently, and try out having a nice clean diet without a lot of processed foods, and see if you get used to it, How do you dispose of the plastic packaging you get in your packages? Landfill.
Landfill.
Yeah, we just take it to the dump, and it's not the best. We love to use our own glass jars so that we have as little packaging as possible.
Right. Yeah, I don't know if that's talking about food packaging or if it's talking about the things that people send us. But in any case, we do still have just a trash can. We put in as little as possible, but when that thing's full and when all of the cans outside are full, we take them to the landfill.
Okay, this is a really interesting question, which I'm not going to read word for word because it refers back to Dirt Patch Heaven. If anyone knows Dirt Patch Heaven, if anyone doesn't know Dirt Patch Heaven, she's another YouTube channel in the homesteading category. We know each other and have visited a few times.
They gave us a goat.
Yes, that's where Hazelnut came from, our beloved Hazelnut.
Her best friend, the goat, came from them.
Exactly. And Kaya and Stella were born on the same day of the same year. So I'm not going to read this question because I'm not actually sure I completely agree on their take, but the question is really important. As your popularity grows, how do you prevent losing the vision of your little patch of heaven?
Well, we don't have necessarily a grand scheme to take over the world via YouTube.
We don't?
No.
No.
So, but as far as I don't know. I guess we just right now we're doing a lot because we're making room for it. But we only do it as much as it really fits and makes sense. So as long as it's a good fit and a good part of our life, then we continue to do it.
What project are you most looking forward to when the snow melts?
Siding, making the outside look different. And we are moving the start date of the workshop up in the calendar. So spring/summer, we will be working on clearing the land and at least raising the roof of the workshop. Because working out in the snow and just having tools exposed and me exposed all of the time, we need to start to centralize that operation. Might even get some of our junky piles cleaned up into it, which would be good.
That'll be good. Last question. What will you have for breakfast Christmas morning? French toast.
French toast.
It's hard to impress our kids as far as breakfast goes because we have so many good breakfasts so much of the time. But we only have French toast for Christmas morning. Well, very rarely have it except for Christmas morning.
Yeah. So we'll make some French bread the night before and then cut it up in the morning. Maybe even get some maple syrup, which we don't usually do, but we would for that day.
Nice.
Well, thanks for hanging out with us, folks. That's been another Q&A. We're reading these questions off of our Facebook page, and we'll do it again next week.
Thanks for watching.
Good night, little house. Sounds like something harder than that.